Branding isn't just a logo, it's a mindset. A holistic approach shaping identities, experiences, and leadership at every level. Welcome to BrandsTalk with your host, Brigitte Bukowski, where excellence meets purpose. We share insights and lessons to inspire and elevate. Let's dive in. My guest today is a woman whose story beautifully reminds us that our greatest challenges often become our greatest invitations to rediscover who we truly are. Louise Budgen is an author, storyteller, speaker, and former ICF coach who has spent more than a decade helping people navigate life's transitions with greater courage and self-trust. Following a life-changing motorway accident, 2 cancer diagnoses, and multiple personal reinventions, Louise chose not to let adversity define her. Instead, she allowed to deepen her understanding of what it means to live authentically. At the age of 61, she published her first book, The Quiet Roar, Stop Pretending You Are Fine. A powerful invitation to stop performing, stop hiding, and reconnect with the quiet wisdom that already exists within us. Through her storytelling, Louise creates space for people to remember something many of us have forgotten. That beneath the noise, expectations, and self-doubt, we already possess the answers we are searching for. Today, we are exploring reinvention, identity, courage, authenticity, and why the most powerful personal brands are often built not through strategy alone, but through the stories we are brave enough to own. So now welcome, Louise Budgen. Welcome to BrandsTalk.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited for this conversation.
I'm excited to have you here on my show today. Louise, your story is one of extraordinary reinvention. You have experienced moments that completely changed the course of your life. And it seems that each chapter has brought you closer to your authentic voice. And if I asked you today, who is Louise Budgen becoming? What would you say?
Louise Budgen is becoming the truest version of herself. And it's very interesting because the last 5 years, which is part 3 of the book, is under the title of Becoming. So becoming Louise Budgen, but I will always becoming every day for the rest of my life. The next part of me will be remembered for who Louise Budgen is. And when you can step into that and hold that, I'm remembering who I am because my guidance is the truth. So in situations, work and personal situations, it's so beautiful now because I just lean into my energy, and know that what's right for me and what's wrong for me and what feels good, what doesn't feel good. And it's my truest version of myself. My brand is called True Soul. So I'm operating from my true self.
Beautiful. Louise, you often say that every reinvention asks the same question. Will you keep becoming who others expect? Or will you become more of yourself? Why do you think so many of us struggle to choose ourselves?
Straight away, it's because we are looking outside of ourselves. We are looking to, maybe it's our friends, our family, as our coach, our social media, for answers. No, you have all the answers, but we don't get quiet enough, in my opinion, to really understand what the truth of ourselves is. And it's only when we can really get to the core of ourselves, our true soul, that we can then start to see the noise, I call it noise on social media, and only take from that what we're to take with us on our journey. Everything is not for everybody, and we can get overwhelmed, I think. So it's about allowing yourself the time and the quiet space to know yourself.
Absolutely. And it's about really understanding who you are, your authentic self, your brilliance, let's say it like that, your core essence that creates your identity. And when it comes to you personally, to your personal brand, how you show up in the world, how you present yourself in the world. So your personal brand, has it evolved over the many years with your reinvention? Was that intentional? Or did it just happen? Yeah. So were you like conscious about it?
No, I wasn't conscious about it. And I call it joining the dots. When I only came on social media 5 years ago. So I suppose that's the first time I'd consciously thought about what I was putting out to the world, because I was very much somebody who, before COVID, could keep a business going by speaking locally, networking and things like that. So online had never been in my orbit. So deciding to be more visible, to be seen and to be heard, it took me on a fantastic journey of self-discovery. And no, there was no plan. And yes, I have had coaches with many, many strategies and do this, do that, but I've only ever taken the parts of that have felt completely aligned with me. And I can go right back to some of my first posts 5 years ago. I am still talking about the same stuff. It's in a very raw form and it's got no brand around it, if that makes sense. And so I've traveled forward over the last 5 years with my own way of trying to express myself, if that makes sense. So I probably could have got where I am now a lot quicker. Let's just put it that way. But I tend to go the long way around because that's the way maybe I'm wired or the way that I am guided to go. So a few years ago, I had a brand under Rock Midlife Avoid the Crisis, and it was a fabulous workbook for women, and it was very powerful and it worked very well. I didn't want to pigeonhole myself into that because I've coached many different women and men. So that was a moment in time, but I didn't see that on my horizon. But I ran with that for a while, and then True Soul dropped in, and truth, trust, time, tests and transitions are what I weave through the book, because I do see them as a framework that is very easy to be remembered by anybody in any situation, be it their health, their relationship, their work. It all starts with the truth. So I've never had a bigger game plan other than the fact that I want to move forward. I want to be more visible and more vocal. But for me as a individual, that's been my hardest part, because I was told to be quiet as a child. And I talk about this in the quiet. The book is called The Quiet Roar. To me is fabulous because I had to find my own quiet roar to even be with you now. It's, a few years ago, it would have been like, oh, no, I can't do that. So it's about learning at my place.
Yeah. And it's got such a beautiful paradox in it, this name, the quiet roar, right? So what is the quiet roar really for you? And when did you first hear your own? Because you said you wanted to be heard outside, but first you need to turn inwards to hear your own voice, your own truth, your own wisdom. It comes from within. So tell me a little bit about how you explain quiet roar.
So I would love to share something that happened over the weekend, actually. I'm having a really big declutter this is my Zen den here. It's a beautiful office. And I've got lots of, as I'm sure many women in business have, notebooks that have got lots of scribbling, writing and just words that meant something 8-9 years ago. And I was flicking through before I decided it's time for these to go now. There's no reason for me to hold on to them. And I wish I'd put it on my desk. It said something like, the mouse is learning to roar like a lion. And that was written 8 years ago. So it was a feeling I had at the time that it was time for Louise to start hearing herself and to be vocal and to be seen. Now, when you have been invisible most of your life, it's a really tough gig to even admit to yourself that you can do it, let alone walk the path to do it. So in answer to your question, the quiet roar for me it's a beautiful space of feeling grounded and rooted in exactly who you are. You don't need to shout. You don't need to roar like an angry lion or be fearful or anything. You are just, you know that you are who you are, and you own your quiet role, and your quiet role will look after you because it will, because you've connected to it. And it's a soul whisper. I talk about soul whispers quite a lot. Your soul is talking to you all the time, in my opinion. And it's when we ignore those whispers that we can't find our inner roar. The conversation where somebody will say, I knew that. Why did I ignore it? So the book helps people to appreciate that nothing is a coincidence. If you are getting these nudges and you continue to ignore them, you are pretending you're fine where something isn't fine, and you're being asked to look at that.
And yeah, as you just said, people already know more than they think they do, in a sense. And that's a really powerful statement. What do you exactly mean by that? And how can we start listening to that inner knowing again? Because it's there. We are just disconnected. We need to reconnect with our inner wisdom. So first of all, that. And why do you think people stop trusting themselves in the first place? I know it's a huge question. But I think it just belongs together.
Yeah, the disconnection is real, isn't it? Maybe it is the era of technology and having everything that we can just quickly find an answer to. We don't plug into our own knowing. Life's changed, hasn't it? In that respect, there's so much information. There's so much that we are marketed to. So almost in a way, when we allow ourselves to be marketed to in that way, we start to feel that we don't know, so therefore we need to look outside of ourselves. But actually, we're so busy, and our diaries can be so full, our to-do lists can be endless, that we don't ever stop to think, hold on, this is not the way a human being should be rolling through their day. This is a human doing. And I talk about this a lot. We are a human being first and foremost. And being is the word. We are to be with ourselves, with our life, appreciating what we can do, appreciating ourselves, giving ourselves compassion and love, to know that if you've still got things on your to-do list, you probably will still have things on your to-do list for the rest of your life. It matters not. What matters is that you travel through life with a connection to your own knowing of what's right for you. And with integrity and kindness, because when you get rooted in your own self, your true self, you can't help but shine brightly. I'll use that word, shine brightly. People say, well, you look great. How are you? And you don't say you're fine. You say, oh, God, I'm fabulous. Feel fabulous. And that disconnection doesn't come from doom scrolling, let's say. I say, let's go from scroll to soul, because let's stop the scrolling. Let's get back connected to our soul, because it's so important that we spend time in nature. Everybody says that, but it's so powerful. That's what this is all about. I have a beautiful garden that I've created, and I've absolutely loved creating it. And every time I walk over here, I get joy, and joy is one of the highest vibrations. Start to look for joy. If you're not feeling joyful, nobody is going to come and give you a bucket load of joy. You need to work out what your own joy is, and that will be very different. I thought gardening was boring and for old people. I'm now an old person and I love it. So it's connecting to give you the joy. And I can honestly say some of my best thoughts or feelings that make me just appreciate being here and being part of all of this come when I've got my hands in the soil and I'm weeding, and I drive my husband mad because he says, why don't you just get a spade and do that quicker? And I don't want to do it quicker. So I weed by hand. I do everything by hand because I love the time that I spend in doing.
Yeah, I remember that you were saying that on my post when I was posting about baking bread. It's the way of how I ground myself. It's the way of how I enjoy. And being in this higher frequency, you just radiate differently. And I
You
think
do.
that the trick is, and the idea is to get yourself into that frequency of joy and love, and then to create from that perspective, from that level. Because if not, we are in a like more negative frequency, and that comes from this, I would really say, from this scrolling instead of going into the soul or back inwards. It's people that feel invisible. They have all their expertise, their potential, but they're always out there, out of focused. And then you feel like, okay, I'm not good enough. Yeah. But when you're going into that, what really makes you doing something that you enjoy and having fun with, then raising that frequency and then create from there is a whole different story. So thank you for sharing that with us. For you, it's the garden. And I think we are in different life phases. And when we were younger, we enjoyed different things than we are older. So this is also your identity kind of evolves and changes, right?
My younger self would have found joy in staying out late and going dancing, for instance.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't want
and
to do
so
that now.
no, me neither. I enjoy it once in a while, maybe, but it's not on the every week's agenda. So coming back to identity, you have experienced this near-death accident and 2 cancer diagnoses. Again, looking back, it's really critical moments in life that can break a person and their identity. But it can also do something else when we see, and I think that sounds really strange or contradictory, but I truly believe even there is a gift in it, a hidden gift. So what did you see in there? Is there anything that helped you reveal who you truly are, that you were all along?
It, it's a conversation, isn't it? To actually say cancer was a gift. And you hear that a lot. People say cancer was a gift. And it was a gift. The accident was a gift because it let's just say that the accident woke me up. Accident literally woke me up out of living very unconsciously with that long to-do list, queen of juggling, queen of doing everything. You can't carry on life like that. I was completely out of my body and out of control, doing everything for everybody. And I think the universe gave me the accident to reroute me. I really do. And the gift of the treatment I had from the PTSD that I was diagnosed with after the accident, EMDR, we talk about this in the book as well, literally rebooted my soul. And that treatment, I don't know whether you probably do know this, but when you've had a treatment like that, you can have this phase of post-traumatic growth. And I really, really found myself in that. And that's when I retrained to be a coach at 50. Now, if you'd asked me at 48, 49, are you going to be a coach next year? No, it wasn't even anywhere in my orbit, but the guidance and the life was guiding me. Life was showing me that, yes, you've had this horrible accident, and yes, you've suffered months and months with uncontrollable emotional PTSD, but finding the right key to unlock the next door was the treatment, because the doctors just kept telling me to take antidepressants. And I'm not against antidepressants, but something within me knew that wasn't so I've always had a knowing what's right and not right for me. So I know I've always had a very intuitive no, yes, no. So I've let that guide me from a very young age. And I think I'm now trying to get people to say, we've all got this. I'm not special. We've all got it. Let's use it. Let's use it. So is there a gift in it? There is, when you can see that perspective and you can see that I've been given my life back in technicolor through having that accident, having had cancer twice. Yes, some hideous years around all of those things, many years lost, missed holidays, missed work, but it's like I was being rebuilding. It's like I was rebuilding and rebuilding with love and compassion for myself, which I never had before.
Oh, that's a beautiful gift to have that. And I think a lot of people don't even get there because also for me, it's been a journey, a very, very long journey to finally have compassion for myself, this self-compassion and developing love for myself and acting from that place. I think that's a beautiful thing when you get there. It's just a different way of life or living.
It isn't a straight road either. It's not a decision you wake up one day and think, oh, I think I'll be compassionate and love myself today. You have to allow life to show you in the little moments how you can do that for yourself, because nobody's coming along to save you. Nobody's going to come along. Well, they might try and sell you a program to tell you how to do this. There's books out there. There are lots of tools out there, but ultimately you have to plug into yourself. You have to start working on the truth of who you are and learn how to trust yourself. And time, time is a great healer, isn't it? And it's a beautiful thing to have time. Let's face it, a lot of people don't have time. Time gets cut short. So let's be grateful for every single minute that we are alive. And that is another great thing to have in your heart, to be grateful for everything.
Exactly. And sometimes, life nudges you. It just nudges you easy to see that. But sometimes we are so busy with ourselves and others and the world and a lot of things that are not really any priority in life that it goes unnoticed. And then life really comes in and hits you very, very hard. And I think, so you finally listen and you finally see that where your gift actually is and your higher purpose, how you serve people in this life in your best possible version. So I've experienced that myself and it took me a while. And
and we are all busy, aren't we, with elderly parents, with the younger children, grandchildren, if you've got them, etc., etc. I would just love to share something that a reader shared with me yesterday, if I could, because I think it shows how, as you've just said, we're all busy and we do everything for everybody else. She read my book and she said it resonated so much with her about being truthful about her own health. And at 5 weeks, she took herself to the doctors. She's now a month post having a cancer operation because of reading the book. So she's had, full operation to remove. And she said, now, I spoke to her yesterday and she said, now, Louise, the clues were there. I was just ignoring them. She said, so if I hadn't read your book, she said, I want you to say to people, if this is a life-saving book. And somebody did say that to me when it was in development. I was giving her parts of it to read and she said, you do know you are writing a life-saving book because you are asking people to be truthful with themselves. And this lady said, you literally have said that. So I wanted to share that because I haven't saved her life. She's saved her own life by connecting to herself through the words that I've written, because it's not you must do this, you must do that. I just explain what happened to me. And the words are resonating and landing so beautifully that people are taking their own options. So I am thrilled, very thrilled.
Yeah. Isn't that powerful? It's your own vulnerability in that book, your story, and that transformed her life. And it transformed it in a totally different way, so much deeper than any other person who would say, go to the doctor. It's different. You connect different to someone who tells a story to someone who gives you just advice, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's an emotional story. And lots of readers said, I cried, and I said, okay, and I can probably guess at which bits they've cried. And it's not, I didn't write it for them to cry, because everything I've written is actually the truth. And it all needed to be as it was written to give the full picture. I mean, let's be honest, there's lots of my life not in there. And few people that know me that
Sure.
have read it said, I thought you would have mentioned, and I said, no, it wasn't necessary for this book.
Yeah.
But to be able to emotionally spark somebody to think, wow, okay. And it's not from, oh my God, Louise is amazing. It's like, okay, life isn't a bed of roses. It isn't a straight line. And I need to understand that if I've got problems in my life, I need to perhaps look at them from a different perspective. I need to take a different view rather than just be with my problems. The problems, we can find solutions for problems in the main.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just stay with stories. That's really interesting because also in branding, we often hear share your story, but so many people hide. And I also can tell from my own experience, the chapters you are most ashamed of. And there's still things that I'm afraid to share. Yeah, maybe I will share it in my book. I don't know yet. But why are these stories we try to hide often the ones that created the deepest human connection? Why do you think so?
I mean, I've been told I've been very brave to share what I've shared through my book, because it certainly isn't a cancer survivor book. And one of the reviewers said to me, I thought I was going to read a journey about cancer. This is a soul awakening in over a period of time. And she said, that's so beautiful, Louise. So I think it's important to share because we're all connected. We are all connected. We all have the same problems, the same issues, just they're packaged up differently. And the whole stop pretending you're fine, which is the top line of the book cover, stop pretending you're fine, is an invitation to hear yourself say that. Because as human beings, maybe it's through fear that we pedal back and say, oh, I'm fine, when actually we know we're not. But we're not ready to take that journey. And not everybody will take that journey in this lifetime, is my belief. But some people that are absolutely ready to take that journey and they get their hands on a book like this, they change their life completely. They save their life. So there are so many good books out there. But it's about being curious enough to pick one up in the first place, isn't it? If you have a problem, read a story about somebody, because a story is an easier way to connect to another human and the other human's experience. And there is power in seeing another human being unravel. That's the first part of my book, Unravel. Another human being remembering what is important and what is beautiful in life, and then becoming through decisions and thoughts and actions that human being took. I'm not asking you to do the same. I'm just inviting you to see how it worked for me. And that there is in the storytelling, I didn't have to, I was guided to just write it as it is. But I do get that said a lot, but you were brave sharing that. And I'm like, well, it felt it needed to be in there. So intuitively, what I felt the readers needed to have.
Yeah. So you published this book, your first book, at 61. And you're stepping on to even bigger stages going forward. So what has this book and this chapter in life taught you about reinvention, visibility, and also the courage to begin again?
Yeah.
You're laying it all out. Yeah. So it's really interesting because here's also the human connection, the vulnerability. What is it for you that you, as someone who is willing to share that story, that creates this deep connection? What did it do for you, or does it do for you?
If I said to you, it does many things. It's like I've allowed myself to be myself. And my biggest thing was always being heard and being seen, because as a child, I wasn't allowed to be like that. And through school, it just wasn't what was happened. And I was labeled many things. So to be able to take those labels off and stand in my power and be on a podcast with you, and I was on the radio yesterday, feels fabulous, because it's like I've taken off whatever was strangling me. I've taken off, if I was a flower in the garden, I've been covered in weeds that were, making me not speak and making me a bit droopy. Now it's a beautiful sense of, I have no idea what the future's got for me, but I just know that there's a next chapter waiting. I don't need to start to strategically think what that next chapter is, because I know it will unfold with me full front and center being me. And so what's it done for me? It's given me freedom to be me no matter what. And that is a peace that I keep doing this, but it's a peace I feel within here. I don't wake up ever now and think, oh, what am I doing? Oh. I wake up and I'm like, okay, what am I doing today? And I've got a very varied schedule, which is lovely, which suits me. So I'm boxless. So many people have tried to put me in a box, and it makes me feel like, oh. So when you can be honest with yourself and admit to yourself, that doesn't suit me, just because it suits that person or that person, it doesn't have to be for you. And I've tried many things. I've failed at many things. It doesn't matter. It was what intuitively I was being guided to create or bring together. And there's always been learnings in that for me. So yeah, it's an adventure. Life is an adventure, and one that I would love everybody to realize, to get excited about life. And yes, bad things happen in life. And I want the book to show you that is your life experience. And I believe that we get given things to grow and learn and evolve. And it's a choice that you do. Not everybody will do that. Not everybody. And that's fine. There's no judgment. There's no judgment on how anybody operates as a human being, but operate as a human being, not a human doing that's out of themselves all the time, comparing themselves all the time. They have no idea who they are as a human being. They have no idea. So I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. I mean, life throws us the curveballs, and it's about us, what we do. And it's always happening for us, and it's feedback and it's redirection. And what I love what you said, that it's freedom to you to be me, regardless what other people say, mean, want, desire. It's about you and full stop. And what I love what you just said, it resonates so much with me. You said, I want to be boxless, or I am boxless. And I talk about the box of inauthenticity where other people want to keep you in. You cannot be authentic in this box that others put on you with a lid on top of it. Because then you cannot, and the label outside, you cannot even read because you're inside. Yeah. So I just love that you are this boxless. Yeah, this connects totally with me. Yeah, and it's totally to what I'm talking about. And yeah, thank you so much. Yes, absolutely, you answered the question. So I have two more for you.
Yeah, lovely.
I think the audience wants that for someone listening to you today who feels stuck, who feels exhausted, or quietly pretending they are fine. What's one truth you hope they remember when this conversation ends?
That they have more wisdom than they've been taught to believe they have. Yeah. And to connect to that wisdom is easier than they think.
Yeah, just listen, be quiet, breathe, turn inwards. I love to do that. Go on a meditation from the head to my heart, opening this door, and then just listen, be there.
Be there. Be there just with yourself in your life, in the moment. I mean, some people who've never meditated, they're new to all of this. I say, look, just spend 5 minutes with yourself quietly somewhere. It can be anywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be sitting cross-legged with yoga pants and incense, burning in the background. Just go and find a park bench. Go and sit in your car and be quiet if you're waiting for your children. Just consciously take that time for yourself to be with yourself. Start there because you will be guided. You will be guided from that point, because I believe that there are angels everywhere waiting for people just to be quiet enough, and they go, oh, she's ready now. Let's go with her now.
Yeah, and asking the question, what does my higher self or inner wisdom want to tell me today? What is important for me to know today? Or what can be my next step? Asking these questions, you will get an answer. It doesn't matter. It's an image. It's a word. It's a saying. On the news, you suddenly hear a word that rings something. I truly believe that, and I've experienced that. I was very much questioning this way of thinking, but I'm proven that.
And isn't it magical? Right. All that, the magic of life.
It is magical, absolutely.
When you believe that this is how life works, and it's always working for your highest good, as you said, life is not against you. If you're feeling that in itself is a beautiful place to start, because you need to realize life is always working for you. And during my challenges, that was something that I held on to. I kept saying to myself, this is not the end for me. This is part of my journey. And if we can just realize the beautiful moments we can create in an instant, just having a cup of coffee, just smelling the coffee, or appreciating looking into a flower head, or a piece of art, or I don't know, anything that gives you joy, as I said before.
Yeah. And you can do that when you stop fighting. When you stop fighting, you go into resonance with yourself. You are in alignment. And I think that's where it is. But it's hard for people to just let go of all of that, and be open to receive, to be open to that way of thinking and believing, and to trusting. Trusting is another. It's one of your T's, right? One of your 5 T's you have.
And that's so true, because when we start to be truthful, we think, well, okay, I will take 5 minutes. Then you start to learn to trust yourself a little bit. The third T is time, because we are all on a journey of mastering patience. Because some people will think, well, I'm being truthful with myself and I'm doing a little bit more trust. Why isn't this happening? No, it's about appreciating time for what it is. Time is for you to relax into and appreciate that when you are to feel or have something given to you. I know we're asking and we are always being given things, but we should have no expectation, Brigitte, because we don't know what's coming. We can put out what we'd like to happen and we can move forward, and invariably something better might happen than we ever expected, because we hadn't allowed ourselves to dream as big as we should have been. If that makes sense.
I absolutely agree. Louise, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you hope people remember? Not only about your story, but about themselves, because they encountered your work. Not only the book, here it is again, not only the book, but your work as a human being here serving us.
I believe that every human being has the ability to light up another human being. And what do I mean by that? Is change another human being's energy in an instant. And I've seen this happen so many times in my own life. So my legacy would be for people to own their power of knowing they have that ability to do that. So it can just be as simple as saying, hello with a smile to somebody that you don't know, maybe walking down the street. If I could just share one very quick story, it happened to me a couple of years ago. Lady in a farm shop, she was on 2 sticks, she was quite elderly, and I went to the freezer cupboard. She was nowhere near me, so I wasn't asking her to move out of the way. And she went, "Oh, I'm so sorry, dear, I was in the way, wasn't I?" And I said, "Oh my God, no, you were not in the way. I wouldn't have gone there if you were in the way." She said, "Oh no, dear, I have been in the way. My mother told me all my life I've been in the way." And I just thought, that's really sad. So I instantly just said to her, "I think your mother told you an untruth." I said, "Because you were never in my way. And I'm sure that actually you were probably never in the way throughout your life. So just know that you were not in my way." And I carried on doing my little shop. And then she waited for me outside on her sticks. And she said, "I can't thank you enough." She said, "You have just given me a different perspective on something that I have held over me. Maybe I haven't always been in the way." How beautiful was that? But we have that ability to do that, to change up the energy of a person. And I keep getting, which is so lovely, opportunities to do that randomly, maybe sitting on the train or in the supermarket, and it's not because I'm saying, "Oh, I know." It's just something they say that I can then say, "Oh, well, look at it from this point of view." Or we all have that ability to be kind, to be passionate, and to create a ripple from our own self of kindness and compassion. And I had a vision once of lighting the whole world up, Bridgie, and a big vision. And because when one woman lights herself up, other women can see her, and then they can take some of that light and they can light themselves up. And I hope that the quiet roar is part of that ripple. And I talk about the ripple in the back book, because what else are we here for if it's not to help other women and help humanity to a happier journey through this beautiful life we have? So it's a ripple. I would love to have a ripple and to see lots of people, not just women, light up across the globe because they've decided to stop pretending.
Yeah. Stop pretending. Yeah, being the real you. And I love how you define the ripple. Yeah, passing on and giving a hand, helping others, because they see in you, if she can do it, I can do it too. And I think that's it, isn't it? So thank you for going first. Okay.
I was just about to say, we're ageless. I don't see, obviously I'm in my 60s. I see that as a massive benefit for the work I'm doing now. I've got this lived experience. I want to share this lived experience. I'm not 101, and I've got many years to be able to hopefully ripple and sparkle, put some sparkles into other people's lives to help them light themselves up. So we're ageless, but I know a lot of young people who I have in my orbit. They are already on this path, so that's fantastic. They're already setting their own ripples up. Now, if you can help somebody when they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, doesn't matter what age you are. That lady that I said in the farm shop, she was in her 80s. And so I think we need as a community to step out of that judgment of sticking with our own age. Let's go back to the bigger connection of the wider family, but the wider earth family of everybody being connected together, because we are, aren't we?
We are, and I think it's never too late. And I think you also would do the world a disservice to those people who would need you if you're not doing that, because you have that gift. You are equipped with so much experience, know-how, love. And this blend is very unique. That makes you you. That's your identity. That makes your personal brand that you show to the world. So you would do a disservice if you were not to do it.
I don't think I have a choice.
No.
It's like, yes, this is me. And it's taken a long time to get to be me. And I want to share that because to help other people, and the word service is absolutely correct. I do feel in service to other people. And the book was of me being able to reach a wider amount of people across the globe rather than just people locally or even people on Zoom coaching, but one-to-one or even groups. A book is able to go further, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely it does. All right, we are almost at the end, Louise. I'd love to do the quiet roll round with you. I'm going to throw out the sentence or a few terms, and you share your first thought or a phrase that comes to mind, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. The first one word that describes this chapter of your life.
Fabulous.
A book that changed you.
Return to Love, Marianne Williamson.
Okay. Courage means
Do it.
a belief you have let go of.
I'm not good enough.
Something people get wrong about authenticity.
They may think they are being authentic, but it's showing clearly that they aren't. So it's an embodiment. It's an embodiment of self that you then operate from a completely authentic, true soul place.
Mm-hmm. One daily ritual that keeps you grounded.
I love watering my garden. I've got a big, and while ever there's not a hosepipe ban, that is one of my favorite times of the day. Early morning or walking. I love walking. I've already been out on the forest this morning, 6:30 with a friend, walked around for a couple of hours. So yes, being out in nature.
Okay.
Early in the morning.
Me too. Me too. I love that. The best advice you've ever received.
Ooh. Ever received? Ooh, that's a good one. It was from a psychotherapist who was giving me the treatment for PTSD. And I said something to him. I said, I'm just an average person. He looked at me, he said, you are not an average person. And I want you to stop thinking you're an average person. That's the first person. It wasn't advice, but it was a directional thing for me to realize, oh, okay, then maybe what I am feeling and who I am, it's okay to be that person, because I was always putting myself down. So is that on switch?
Yes. Finish this sentence. Your quiet roar begins when?
You choose to listen in.
Yes. And one more thing. What does a brand mean to you?
It means that you are completely aligned with your truth, and your brand is an extension of your heart and soul and what you are here to serve the world with.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Louise, where can listeners find you and get in touch with you and with your book? Here we go.
So I'm on all the social channels. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. I have a website, louisebudgen.com. You can order, it's got links through there to order the book from whichever place you want to order it from me, from Waterstones, from Amazon. So louisebudgen.com. What was the other thing you wanted to... I think that was it, wasn't it? Where to find me.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So thank you for being here today, being my guest on BrandsTalk and sharing your journey, your stories, and your first book that you have published. And I hope that many people are now going to just hit purchase button because I think having this book really connects with yourself, with your true self. So thank you so much. That's a real service to the world. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this episode, hit follow on your favorite app, share it with your network, and leave a quick review. Stay tuned for the next episode and keep shining.